days, it's all about the championship, isn't it? To be Formula One world champion, that's the goal. And in the ever-ballooning calendar of Grand Prix and sprint races and qualifying sessions, it's all about the championship, the points, the season-long battle. Perhaps it's best to be focused this way. It helps create the cohesive story that draws people in and excites them for what's to come, ensures they come back next week. But sometimes it's fair to wonder, what if it wasn't about the championship, the title, the points? Would anybody even show up? Going back a few decades uncovers that the emphasis on the championship, while still present since its inception in the 1950s, was not always the focus. Throughout the 1950s, 60s, 70s, and even into the 1980s, Formula One teams and cars showed up to race, not only for official points-paying Grand Prix each year, but also the smattering of non-championship races as well. Going back to the 1930s and the even earlier Grand Prix racing, a Grand Prix paying points was the exception, not the rule. But slowly over the years, the so-called non-championship Grand Prix slowly faded away. By the late 1960s, it was down to just a handful of events, run to Formula One specification with sometimes random assortment of entries, both full-time teams testing and aspiring teams and drivers going out to participate in a Formula One race, just as a race and nothing more. It's almost impossible to imagine now, all the effort and preparation, but no points on the line, just the joy of racing. The very last non-championship traditional race-style event was the 1983 Race of Champions at Brands Hatch. The short 40-lap race had been a long-standing spring tradition at Brands, stretching back to 1965, and coming into 1983 it was brought back from a 3-year hiatus. A meager 13 cars entered the event, and only a short list of F1's big names made an appearance. But the crowd was in store for a great battle between Williams' K.K. Rosberg and Ferrari's René Arnoux. And in some excitement, a young Danny Sullivan ended up hauling his Tyrrell to second place, but unable to catch Rosberg, who was able to bring that Williams to victory. At a time when the F1 calendar was limited to 15 or 16 events, maybe there was space for a few extras. Now, with 22-plus Grand Prix weekends a year, the days of the non-championship race are over. But let's hope the spirit of racing to race hasn't fully departed. So, just for some fun and because I really enjoy driving these cars, I'm lined up at Brands Hatch in Automobilista 2 with the McLaren MP4 1C for a sprint race, a little non-championship action, pure racing for all the glory. Alright, so here we are on the grid to hold the brake in so we don't roll away. Green, we're underway. Up to second gear, come to Paddock Bend, just right around the outside. I got a McLaren right here to my right, the Lotus right behind me, and Renault there too. Williams in front, come up to Druids, down the gearbox, down to first. Try to roll it around, cold tires, not a lot of grip here. Alright, there we go, down the hill to Hill Bend. The throttle for the short shoot up to Sterling's, one of the most challenging corners on this track. Really tough to find the apex, a bit squirrely on the way in, cars dancing all around. Oh, the Alpha in front on the grass, let me squeak by that Williams there. All the way up the gearbox then into the fast right-hander at Hawthorne's. Missed the apex just a little bit on the inside, but still a nice run there. Get up the inside for the second one, second gear. Almost push him off the track, might have. Now up to Dingledell, second gear. Missed the curb once again, but right behind my Williams teammate in front. Get it down to second for Sterling's. Bit of a calm moment as the car snaps coming out of the corner, and then finally up to the final turn on the circuit already. Clark's Bend. Understeer in third gear, keep it there though. Negate the wheel spin and come across the line complete. Lap number 1 of 8. It'll be a really fast race here. Come over Paddock Bend again. Oh, Williams in front so slow. Slide it in from first gear. Control some of the wheel spin. You just kind of point the wheel wherever it wants to go and hope a little bit as it totally missed the apex at Graham's. But get it back up the gearbox. I think I just got 3 cars in front of me. Hopefully make easy work of them. And come on onto the back straightaway. I think at this point, these cars had totally outgrown Brands Hatch. They're so fast, and it's such a tight circuit. You can see why it was so dangerous. This is the modern version of the circuit, but very close to what it would have been like in 1983. Little slide there. Two in front, side by side, almost making contact. Come through Dingledell again. That's the one place this track was different. I believe there was a chicane at Dingledell. A little wide through Sterling's. But these were after the cars had been slowed down. 1983 was the year after ground effect, and effectively they mandated flat bottoms on the cars, so there couldn't be any ground effect work, supposedly. The two in front still side by side and touching. Carried a lot of speed through there. They slowed each other down up to Druids. Wheel all over the place as follow these two down. The Renault is one of the quickest cars of the season, of course being turbocharged. This McLaren is not. It's quite interesting. So I'll follow these two through Sterling's, try to get a good exit here. Get a good run down the straightaway. Oh, they're going to power beyond me, and that's kind of the problems with the McLaren for 1983. Not turbocharged. Quite outdated by this point. These two are slowing me down quite a lot. Almost running wide. This was a car that had debuted in the 1981 season with the venerable DFV. Naturally aspirated, about 500 horsepower. And by 1983 was very much outclassed by the rest of the field. And the results showed for it. I think John Watson won one Grand Prix right at the beginning of the season, and the rest of the year was kind of a write-off for the team. Over Paddock here. Oh, the car's so sideways there. You can really feel the tires in AMS2. It's a lot of fun. We're already halfway into this thing. I gotta get around these two quite quick. See if I can get up to the leader. Get on the accelerator. On the second gear for Sterling's. Nowhere really to pass around the outside there, but see if I can get a run onto the straightaway. Right behind Prost Renault here. Up to Hawthorne's third gear. Need a lot of brave moves around this track to make some passes. Up the inside, second gear. It's going to chop my nose. Still, handful of laps into the race, the car just kicks sideways with a little too much power. All right, up the inside at Sterling's. Oh, he's going to break me too. These kind of cars are so fun to race. I find, personally, ground effect cars to be a little hard to understand just in how they make speed and downforce. And so removing that ground effect aid, the aero aid, makes them somewhat of a manic to drive, but they're so much fun. Very, very aggressive, very physical cars. Kind of feel like you're always operating at your very limit, but so rewarding in that. Nice little run here down to Sterling's. See if I can really do it down the straightaway this time. I think I've got them beaten to Hawthorne's. Prost a little slow on the inside. Getting up the gearbox, fourth gear. Oh, and his slipstream is just going to pull away. Down to third here through Hawthorne's. There we go, on the accelerator early. Get off the inside here. Oh, almost both of them. All right, slot into place between the two. Not a bad pass. Third gear for Dingledell. Oh, the Ferrari's slow in front. Get him up into Sterling's. Going to chop the nose. Really caught me slowing down there. Prost right on my rear bumper, rear wing. We'll come to the line and start lap number 6. Just the two Ferraris in front for our McLaren here. Got the AI on 110% difficulty. And with this custom AI skin pack, really fits the part for the 83 season. corner's a bit awkward at slow speed. There we go, catch the car. Oh, and a nice run towards Sterling's. Try to run out wide. Oh, I didn't mean to go around the outside, but it kind of works out that way. All right, right on the gearbox here. Trying to get a good exit out of Hawthorne's. Try to do the same thing I did to Prost. There we go, side by side. Second gear. Compromising the apex, but able to get it done. One more Ferrari to go in front to Dingledell. So P2, 22 cars in this race, running the whole field. That'll be a little more fun than the 13 cars that ran here for the real non-championship race. But a really fun track with these cars, and like I said, you can see why at this point they were maybe a little too fast for it. I'd love to see a proper historic version of Brands Hatch. I think Grand Prix Legends is the only sim that we have that in, and was converted to a few other of the older sims, but nothing more recent for simulators. At half second up on my best lap, just a little bit of clean air there for a minute, and I'm right on the back of the leader. Be able to do the same move again. Bit of understeer there through Hawthorne's, not quite close enough this time around. Could maybe make an adventurous attempt up there, but Lana may as well come up to Dingledell again, second gear. See if I can squeak it up the inside at Sterling's. Not able to outdo him there. To the line and start the final lap. It was going to work up to be a photo finish. A little bit on the curbs there, a little bit of a messy line. Luckily has a lot of curbs around this track up to Druids. Could have maybe sent it up the inside there. Oh, a car gets squirrely there coming out of the corner. Here we go, nice run coming out of Graham Hill, up the inside towards Sterling's. Second gear will keep it nice and close to the curb. A lot of curbing on the inside. Oh, all over the rear wing. It's going to sneak it up the inside as a pump to Hawthorne's. Oh, and past the Ferrari. Right down to third gear. See if we can get them back here. There we go. Trading positions. Second. Backs out of it, got the lead. Just a couple more corners then to not throw it all away. Out of first gear for Sterling's, maybe keep it in second through there. All right, come up to Clearway's Clark's corner for the final time, down to second gear. Quite a manic race there. Set it up just perfectly though to get the pass on the final lap and win at Brands Hatch. So has modern Formula One lost its way? Has everybody forgot what racing's all about? No, I don't think so. I think there are a lot of folks still involved with the highest levels of motorsport who really just love to race. But it's all just a bit different now. It's so much fun to go look through the past and see how things were, but then also put it in context of how things are today. Just under 40 years ago, they were still running non-championship Formula One races, and who knows, maybe in the future, that could return as the next great thing in racing entertainment. But a fun race around Brands Hatch. I love these 1983 cars in Automobilista 2. They're obviously not all the real car. The McLaren, at this point, I believe is the only actual model, but the rest of them fit the part quite well, and they're a lot of fun to drive if you couldn't tell. Hope you enjoyed the over-the-shoulder cam, just something different. I thought I'd try that I've wanted to do for a while. Give it a different perspective than the normal racing type video. I've been so focused on online competition lately, whether that be the rallies or the Targa Florio or the Historic Road Racing Championship, that it's been really nice to get back into just some fun sim racing this week. And this has been one that's been on my list for a while. So a fun little trip down memory lane and something always new to enjoy in Automobilista 2. I know there's a lot of great stuff on the horizon for this sim, so I'll be back in it soon, but let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see right now. But that's it for now. This has been GP Laps, and I'll see you all again next time.